First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Serious adverse reactions are rare.
But a teenager from Dyer County, Tennessee, is in hospital tonight after being one of those rare exceptions.
Tonight, WRG's Alex Coleman tells us about her fight to recover and what doctors say about her condition.
Children's Hospital, pictures of 17-year-old Shelby Grace Allen don't capture what she's gone through in just a matter of days.
Definitely feel blessed. I could be in a lot worse situation than I am now. I could be dead, or I could be paralyzed.
A few weeks ago, Gracie, as her family and friends call her, started noticing problems like back pain. She eventually experienced tingling in her toes when she was maid of honor in a wedding. But what really alarmed her was what happened when she was bowling.
I'm on the bowling team from the high school, Dyer County, and I noticed when I was throwing the ball that I couldn't feel my arms or legs. So I was freaking out.
Her parents took her to see a doctor in Jackson.
And when we got in finally, my doctor, my PA, told me like right off the bat what she thought it was. She was like, "You have Guillain-Barré."
Gracie is now being treated at Le Bonheur for a rare condition known as Guillain-Barré syndrome.
I just want to share what happened to me because I feel like my story should be and need be heard. And please share this to any hospital worker or any worker that needs to hear this because it may help someone. And I'm not here to get, sympathy or empathy or anything like that. I struggled for 8 months and I won workers' compensation to the COVID-19 vaccine. This is notice of decision and there's financial retribution that was given back to me from what happened to me. My first dose was December 26, 2020, which I had normal reactions as stated by Moderna. And the second dose was January 23rd, 2021 in front of all my coworkers and in front of the nurse and the director of a major hospital that I worked for. I'm sorry, this is hard to share, but okay. I started to get a rash and itching, and then it was all over my body. I threw up. I had numbness in my tongue, the roof of my mouth. And then afterwards, I had convulsing shaking in my right arm and my right leg. And then they brought Benadryl and injected to me into my other arm that didn't have the vaccine in it, and then brought me to the critical care unit, which everyone's seen that I had a rash all over my body. They gave me a drip of IV fluids. They gave me injection steroid and Pepsid as well. So they did that. They said, we have to wait 4 hours. And if you have any other experiences after you leave here, then come back to the ER, which a week later I was in the CCU with a blood temperature of 95.9 and a blood pressure of 89/65. I was afraid I was going to die, but I fought through almost 9 months or 8.5, 9 months of workers' compensation. And my infectious disease doctor with other doctors proven on scripts, and I won.
So I got the J&J on July 2nd, started having palpitations on July 10th. That has also led to racing heart and pounding heart, constant chest pain, shortness of breath, daily headaches. My OBGYN decided that he thought I should go see a cardiologist, so I did that today. I get to wear that for the next 2 weeks to monitor my heart. I need to have a stress test and a echo to see what's going on with my heart. And I follow up with him on the 10th of November to find out what everything shows. More expenses that I'm going to have to pay. And I'm super concerned about what's going on inside of me. But they want to mandate this for children as young as 5. No.
Dr. Mel Boucher, he has contacts all through Vancouver, and some doulas who work in Women and Children's Hospital, they had 13 stillbirths in a 24-hour period.
We know that 13 babies.
In Waterloo, Ontario, I have a more reliable statistic that there was 86 stillbirths between January and July. And normally it's only 5 or 6 stillbirths every year. So about 1 stillbirth every 2 months is the usual rate. So to suddenly get to 86 stillbirths in 6 months, that's highly unusual. But the most important confirmation that we have from the Waterloo, Ontario report was that all of the 86 stillbirths were fully vaccinated.
Fully vaccinated mothers.
That's right.
People are dropping dead on the television, and the television is pretending like it's not happening, like, let's go, Brandon. But the evidence is overwhelming, and it's not just the athletes that are dropping dead, but we've got the news media, government officials dropping dead. They've got neurological issues. Something is going on with this vaccine, and now they're injecting it into children, adding heart attack medication. And they're censoring everyone, calling people criminals for questioning the obvious. Why are people dropping dead on television like never before? Why are they trying to normalize heart attacks and strokes, trying to make it seem like natural causes, the perfect murder, as they kill countless people? What about all these victims from the vaccines? Their stories are silenced. But according to the estimates, more people are dying from the vaccines than from the virus. Right now, the most vaccinated countries are experiencing record numbers, and they're still trying to blame the unvaccinated, even though tens of millions of people have been vaccinated. Things should be 50% better or 70% better according to the vaccination rates. But in fact, things are worse than ever before. They're breaking new records. It's Let's Go Brandon on the television nonstop as people are dropping dead. They don't want to accept the obvious. These vaccines don't work. And not only do they not work, but they're toxic. It's like the next fen-phen, causing massive heart attacks. The nanoparticles from the vaccines migrate to the heart and kill people silently. It's painful to watch. It's painful to see all of these people believing the television. And they think just because it's FDA approved that everything is okay. According to the info-Nazis, want you to believe that there weren't ever any death camps so that they can do it again. And that's what's going on. There's something else happening other than idiocracy. These people on television are malicious. They have an agenda. They want to kill people. It's right there on the Georgia Guidestones. And not only are they injecting you with their death banks, they're poisoning the food, the air, the water. They're surrounding you with death towers. They're spraying you like bugs with the chemtrail. And we're all just looking at the television, watching all these people drop dead, and not just the athletes and the newscasters and the politicians, but students, children are dropping dead. People that you know are being affected by this vaccine. And there are many people that are suffering in silence. They don't want to admit that they're having issues. The people are going blind. They're losing their minds. They're having heart attacks, strokes, and other problems. And they've injected our military with it. So now they can't even go on the battlefield. Better hope that there's not another war, because it's going to be a mass casualty event. We can't even defend ourselves. We've injected everybody with this death vax. And nobody can be held liable. That's the best part. You can't sue anybody. You can't bring anybody to court. You have to pretend, let's go Brandon. You have to pretend there's a virus. You have to pretend, get your vaccine. Everything's going to be fine. But it's not going to be fine. None of the animals survived the animal studies. It's so bad that Pfizer faked their clinical results to get emergency approval. It's the biggest scam perhaps ever perpetrated in American history, in world history. And many people are going to die. And they're going to pretend like it's the unvaccinated. Many countries with a 70, 80% vaccination rate are now breaking records. And they still want to blame the 10 or 20% that are unvaccinated, or 30% that are unvaccinated for the record number. It's mathematically impossible. This is the new woke COVID math, and we're seeing it all over the news. They're going to keep lying like the poll numbers. They're going to keep stealing the elections. They're going to keep doing what they're doing because they're past the point of no return. They can't admit what they've done. They can't confess. Nobody's going to accept an apology. Not after all of this. Heads are going to have to roll. We need to bring the guillotines, because this is not going to end all by itself. People need to wake up. This isn't your imagination. It's not even the Twilight Zone. This is real life. This is happening. They've totally faked everything. And they're injecting people with this mystery death vax full of graphene, full of toxic chemicals. Looks like the video guy's on vacation, but these people on television are cultists. They worship the devil. This is a giant blood sacrifice. And if you don't get their death vax, it's like the mark of the beast. You can't buy or sell. You can't participate in society. You're no longer free. We look at the graphene that's in the vaccine, and it's carbon. It's 666 on the periodic table. It's the number of, that's what they're injecting people. So it's bad enough. You got the Chinese code, the dragon, right? the coat of the dragon mixed in with the black hue of the beast. You've got this Frankenstein cocktail of evil that is dropping dead is surreal. People want to pretend like it's the 1950s, like it's the Brady Bunch, like everything is normal, like it's the happy day. It's not normal out there. What's going on? It's everybody's worst nightmare, and you might not be able to wake everybody up. But what's happening here is a ritual cult sacrifice, blood sacrifice, like Astro World, like the Illuminati mass murder in Las Vegas. That's what's happening here. They're killing people for the fun of it, for the sport, for entertainment. And until people wake up and realize that they're being targeted by a system of evil, things aren't going to get any better. You can't obey your way out of this. You can't submit your way out of this blood sacrifice. There's only one way out. And that's with war. That's with 1776, guillotines, revolution. Government becomes tyrannical. It's the duty of every citizen out there to resist tyranny. They're not going to go away willingly by themselves. Leave it there for the broadcast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like and share, mirror this content. Find us on Telegram at SDFN Report. There's a lot of censorship happening right now.
In the last week, I went to my 13th death or cardiac arrest and subsequent death post the vaccine. What I'm seeing on the front line is that, these vaccines are not as safe as we're led to believe. And in a lot of cases, they seem to be doing more harm than good.
4 people in wheelchairs present back to the clinics after receiving Pfizer, and they were all under 40. These are all people that weren't able to walk. They had numbness, and they couldn't feel legs and arms.
So there was a young person who had his jab 3 days prior, so he had it on the Wednesday, he was last seen well on Saturday night. Sunday morning he was found unconscious on the floor in his own vomit, and he was diagnosed as being in septic shock and having a massive cardiac infarct. And he went to ICU, and I don't think he recovered. To be honest, I just wish that we were allowed to speak about this. It is so frustrating to be in a position where we are seeing this stuff and we are seeing what these vaccines are doing, and we're not allowed to speak about it. We're under the threat of losing our registration. We've been told that we're not allowed to talk about these things, and I can't even begin to put into words how frustrating it feels to be silenced. Everyone's living in fear of being reprimanded and losing their job. I've seen many people have varied reactions to this vaccine. I've seen people die from it, both in my professional capacity and also in my personal life. I've never witnessed anything like this, where there's such a massive rise in strokes, bleed-outs, neurological disorders. Normally vaccines don't have severe reactions like this, and normally you would make a bigger deal out of it and you wouldn't just brush it under the carpet, which is what seems to be happening with this one. So the thing that bothers me the most is that we're lying to the patients and we're telling them that this is going to keep them safe, and this is going to keep them out of hospital, and this is going to prolong their life. And everyone has taken the vaccine under false pretenses. No one has been told that there are horrific side effects. In my opinion, there's been an increase in admissions to the stroke and neurological wards post this COVID-19 vaccine rollout.
I've noticed a big spike in strokes. I've also noticed there's been a lot of neurological conditions going on.
We were called to approximately 20-year-old female post-seizure, never had a seizure before in her life. Again, healthy, well, normal 20-odd-year-old. presented with seizures post her first COVID shot. That was 2 days after her COVID shot. She presented with seizures on the back of no history of the same.
A young girl came up in a wheelchair and she said that there was something wrong and she didn't look good. And one of the nurses just said that, oh, she's just having a panic attack and sent her down to emergency.
So the main presentations in people that have been vaccinated has been a large increase in stroke, a large increase in pleural effusions, which is where the lung fills up with fluid and you can't breathe, and then the confusion in the elderly without any underlying dementia, and heart attacks in people with no family history, no medical history.
Well, I personally have seen an increased number of cardiac cases in the almost 20 years I've been a paramedic. I've never before attended 6 back-to-back cardiac cases in one shift. In all of these patients, all 6 had been vaccinated.
In my personal life, in my friend group, I have a lot of people who've been required to get vaccinated for their work. And 3 of those, of various ages, one's in the 20s, one's in the 30s, one's in the 40s, again, fit, well, healthy males, all of whom are now in cardiac failure post the vaccine. And the cardiac failure for all of them developed within about sort of 2 to 3 weeks after them having their first vaccine. So they went from functioning well human beings to human beings who now they can't walk around the block without getting short of breath.